Hello, Wheel of Time fans, and today I'm here to review the last episode of Season 1. And it's crazy that we're at this point, but I'm going to be telling you my spoiler-filled thoughts. I'm not going to be spoiling any of the books, but just the show right now. Alright, this was a kind of crazy episode. I have very mixed feelings on this episode. It wasn't great. There was a lot of things I wish were changed. And there's a lot of things I'm like, that's too different. That's way too different from the books. And I kind of need to bring it back. I can tell you, there's no Elaine in this show whatsoever. I was kind of waiting for at least the cameo she gets as an Eye of the World. And there's no Elaine in the show whatsoever. They kind of ignore her. Caemlyn was barely even mentioned, I don't think. And maybe they're just going to bring her in The Great Hunt. I'm glad they just covered one book. That's what I wanted in my wish list. They covered one book. That's what they did. But they were kind of rushed with it. They skipped over some parts. They made it a little weird. Like, Matt, they totally crapped Matt's storyline. Because they gave him a cliffhanger that never happened in the books. For this one where he just didn't come in the Waygate. And then they just crapped on his storyline for the next, that's what they did. They just didn't carry it out. It's one of the pet peeves I have for the show. They didn't do that really well. They could have handled it a lot better. So I was like, that Matt thing probably couldn't have happened. This started with the Lews Therin. I love the fact that Lews Therin was like in the show. Like there was an actor actually cast as Lews Therin. That's cool though, and I really just like how he was talking to, I think it was Amyrlin, the old Amyrlin, and they look out and then they see like the most futuristic World of the Wheel of Time. That's what I do like. They really show that the World of the Wheel of Time was really, really advanced in society before, the breaking and stuff like that. And that's what it really, because it's really technically a futuristic fantasy. It's the future. So that's really honest to it, and it's not just an old series. Matt, I mentioned Matt. They threw him away. And Padan Fain, he went and killed a bunch of people. Or he killed some of the people in Fal Dara because they were going to war because Trollocs were attacking there. And Rand and Moiraine left to go into the Blight, to the Eye of the World, which they should have gone together. It was really dumb. Just kind of being loner, it's another thing that bothered me. But whenever they were attacking Padan Fain, he kills Loial. Like, dude, you can't just, kill off characters who are important. I'm going to tell you right now, Loial is extremely important to the Wheel of Time. And they kind of killed him off. I don't even know. They stabbed him and they left. Padan Fain stabbed him and left. Which was come on. You can't do that. And Perrin was trying to use Way of Leaf. Way of Leaf sucks. Come on. It would have been so much more useful. He didn't have cap off to his wolf storyline. He needed more of a oomph in this book with the wolves, and they missed the whole part about him killing the White Cloaks. Well, they didn't miss it, but people just saved him and he didn't kill them, So it was kind of different. And then it's just when Rand and Moiraine went into the Blight, he saw what he wanted, and basically the Dark One was trying to convince him not just to go on his side, just like any other hero story. And again, he ends up choosing good, blah, blah, blah. It was kind of cliche, but it was still enjoyable to see our actors go through that, and Moiraine just having him dead, having him with a knife. And it's cool to see what Aes Sedai, what lengths Aes Sedai would go to save the world. He had put, I saw Moiraine, she was ready to kill him. And, yeah, and then they have a link with a bonding when, back at Fal Dara, they're opening, they're channeling, and all of them die except for, Egwene, and then Nynaeve miraculously comes back. Don't kill off a character that we know is alive. Just you try to kill off Nynaeve at the beginning of the series, they tried to kill her off here, and there was oh, psych, you thought. And I'm did you really think I would, actually fall for that? That was dumb. But because of, that, it was, open, she almost died because they were all channeling. I don't even know anymore. But it's just, okay, I didn't like that scene whatsoever. I was don't do that. Don't do that. And then Lana's kind of tracking Moiraine, and it's just, and then you find her at the very end. And then Rand just tells her to go off. Rand goes off alone, and that's how it ends. He just goes off, and then he said, "Don't tell, or tell him I died." And then that's what she basically tells Lan. And I bet you I hope he goes to Caemlyn. That's my theory. He's going to Caemlyn, that's where he eventually meets Elaine, and that's my theory for where the show's going. He goes meets Elaine, and then that's where they meet up with the main crew again. And it was good to see all the five together, but I know there's gonna be very different now. There's gonna be very separated from the Great Hunt, and I love the Great Hunt. The Horn of Valir, I think Potter and Fane took it. I was like, just that random difference is like just like so weird. Potter and Fane has the dagger, and that's how it ends. And then of course, the Seanchan, that was a cool scene. I'll give it to them. That was a freaking cool scene when the Seanchan with their Damani. I was like, okay, what is that? Who's that? And then it was like, and it took me a while, and then I was in shock. It was the Seanchan, and like that's really insane to have the Seanchan is there, like that. I was like, I couldn't believe myself, and that was really epic. So, like that was a good ending. I'll give it to you. That was a good ending. And so that's the end of the show. I hope they all do a book versus show on this, just comparing it. It's very different, so I'm gonna be talking a long time. And yeah, so that was the video, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.